What's up, Browns Nation? If you're watching this right now, you need to buckle up because we're about to dive into something that could flip the script on our entire Sunday against Pittsburgh. I'm talking about a situation that's developing as we speak and involves one of the most exciting young talents we've got on this roster. This isn't just another injury update. This is about how one player's status could completely reshape our game plan against our biggest rival. So if you're a die-hard Cleveland fan, you already know what I'm about to say. Smash that subscribe button, hit the bell, and let's build this Browns breakout community together. We're on a mission here, and I need every single one of you riding with us. Share this with your crew, spread the word, and let's make some noise for our team. All right, let's get into it. Harold Fanion Jr. Remember that name because this kid has been nothing short of electric this season, and right now, his availability for Sunday's game against the Steelers is hanging in the balance. The Browns just added him to the injury report after he tweaked his groin during practice this week, and I'm not going to lie, this has me concerned. Not panicking, but definitely concerned. Because when you look at what this rookie tight end has brought to the table in what's been an absolutely brutal season, you start to realize just how much we're leaning on him. Let's talk numbers for a second, because they tell a story. This 21-year-old kid has caught 70 passes out of 105 targets. That's 701 yards and 5 touchdowns. As a rookie, in a season where we're sitting at 3-12, fighting for respect more than playoffs at this point. Those aren't just solid numbers, those are legitimate weapon numbers. That's a player who's becoming a safety blanket for whoever's under center. And it's not just about catching passes either. Fanion's been willing to do the dirty work. 13 rushing yards, 7 carries, a rushing touchdown. He's out there blocking, catching, running, doing whatever Kevin Stefanski asks him to do. That's the kind of mindset that builds championship rosters, even when the wins aren't coming yet. Think about Week 16 for a minute. We took an L against Buffalo, yeah, but Fanion? 4 catches, 34 yards, a touchdown reception, and a rushing score. 2 touchdowns in one game. That's a performance that shows up on the stat sheet and on the film. That's the kind of day that makes opposing defensive coordinators circle your number and start game planning specifically for you. And now, just when he's hitting his stride, just when the chemistry is starting to click, we've got this injury situation looming over us heading into the biggest rivalry game in football. Now, here's what we know from the reports. ESPN's Adam Schefter is saying the Browns are taking a cautious approach, which honestly, I respect. We're not in playoff contention, so there's no reason to push a 21-year-old kid with a bright future and risk turning a minor groin issue into something that could linger or get worse. Groin injuries are tricky. They're not like a finger or even a shoulder where you can tape it up and gut through it. One wrong cut, one awkward movement, and you can go from questionable to out for weeks. The team wants to see how he feels as the weekend progresses, and they'll make the call closer to kickoff. That's smart management, even if it leaves us fans sitting here anxiously refreshing Twitter every 5 minutes. But let's game this out. What happens if Fanion can't go? What does our offense look like without one of our most reliable targets? This is where things get interesting and, honestly, a little scary. We've struggled to find consistency all season long. The offensive line has had its issues. The quarterback situation has been what it's been. We've dealt with injuries, we've dealt with growing pains, we've dealt with games where nothing seems to click. Fanion has been one of the few constants. He's been that guy who shows up, runs his routes, makes his catches, and moves the chains. Take him out of the equation, and suddenly other guys have to step up. More pressure on Amari Cooper. More targets potentially going to players who haven't been as involved. More adjustments for the coaching staff to figure out on the fly. And let's be real about who we're playing here. The Pittsburgh Steelers at 9-6, fighting to keep their playoff dreams alive. This is a team built on physicality, toughness, and making life absolutely miserable for opposing offenses. Their defense is going to come at us with everything they've got. They're going to stack the box, they're going to pressure the quarterback, and they're going to dare us to beat them with our pass catchers. If we're down a weapon like Fanion, that makes their job a whole lot easier. This isn't some soft defense we can just spread out and pick apart. This is Pittsburgh. They play smash-mouth football, and they're especially nasty when they smell blood in the water. The 1 o'clock kickoff on CBS can't come soon enough because the anticipation is killing me. And I know it's killing you too. That's what makes this rivalry so special, right? Even in a season where we haven't lived up to expectations, even when the playoff picture doesn't include us, Browns versus Steelers still matters. It always matters. Pride is on the line. Division bragging rights are on the line. The chance to spoil their playoff hopes is on the line. And for guys like Fanion, if he does suit up, this is the kind of game that can define a young career. These are the moments you remember. The rivalry games. The physical battles. The chances to prove you belong. What I love about Fanion, beyond the production, is the mentality. The Browns drafted this kid because they saw something special. They saw a player with soft hands, route-running ability, the willingness to block in a run game, and the versatility to line up anywhere. He's not just a receiving tight end. He's not just a blocker. He's a complete player who's still developing, still learning, still getting better every single week. That's what makes this injury so frustrating. We're watching a young star emerge right before our eyes, and now we've got to hold our breath and hope it's nothing serious. Looking ahead next season, and yeah, I know we're not even done with this one yet, but stay with me. Fanion is the kind of building block you construct an offense around. Pair him with a healthy Nick Chubb, get Amari Cooper back to full strength, maybe add some pieces in the draft and free agency, and suddenly you've got the makings of something dangerous. But it all starts with keeping your core healthy and developing them the right way. This cautious approach with the groin injury? That's the front office and coaching staff thinking long-term. They're protecting their investment. They're making sure this kid is around for the next 10 years, not just the next game. The quarterback situation is another layer to this whole thing. We've had struggles under center all year. Everyone knows it. And when your quarterback is under pressure, dealing with inconsistent protection, trying to navigate a tough defense like Pittsburgh's, having a security blanket like Fanion becomes even more critical. He's been that outlet, that third down conversion machine, that red zone target who can go up and get it. If he's not available, our signal caller is going to have to be even sharper, make quicker decisions, trust guys who might not have the same rapport yet. But here's the thing about this Browns team, and this is what keeps me coming back week after week, season after season. We're resilient. Kevin Stefanski has built a culture where guys don't make excuses. They just line up and compete. We've seen it all year. Games where we had no business being competitive, and we fought until the final whistle. That's not going to change on Sunday. Whether Fanion is out there or not, the rest of this roster is going to give everything they've got. That's the Cleveland way. That's what Browns football is all about. You think about guys like Cooper who've been battling all season. You think about the defense that's had stretches of absolutely shutting people down. You think about the young players who are fighting to prove they deserve to be part of this team's future. Every single one of them is going to show up ready to leave it all on the field against Pittsburgh. And if Fanion does get cleared and he's out there Sunday, you better believe he's going to be fired up. Playing through adversity. Showing that toughness. Making plays when it matters most. That's how legends are born in this league. The AFC North has always been about physicality and grit. It's a division where nothing comes easy, where every game is a war, where respect is earned in the trenches. Sunday is going to be another chapter in this storied rivalry. And while this season hasn't gone the way any of us hoped, we've still got pride. We've still got something to prove. We can still walk into that stadium and show Pittsburgh and the rest of the football world that Cleveland is built different. So what's my final take on all this? I'm hopeful Fanion plays, but I'm not going to lose sleep if the team decides to hold him out. This kid's future is too bright to risk long-term damage for one game, even if it is against the Steelers. But if he does play, I expect him to make an impact. I expect him to show up and show out. And if he doesn't play, I expect this team to rally around his absence and find a way to compete anyway. That's what teams with championship DNA do. They adapt. They overcome. They find a way. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think Browns Nation should expect on Sunday? Are you worried about Fanion's status, or do you trust the depth to step up? Drop your comments below, and let's get a conversation going. Your perspective matters. This community matters. We're all in this together, riding the highs and the lows, believing in this team even when it's hard. That's what real fans do. And before you go, make sure you're subscribed to Browns Breakout so you don't miss any of the latest news, analysis, and breakdowns. Hit that like button, share this with your fellow Browns fans, and let's keep building this thing together. I'll be back with more updates as we get closer to kickoff. Until then, keep that Cleveland pride strong, and let's get ready to show Pittsburgh what we're made of. Browns Nation, let's go.